here we are, folks. Things have been busy in my life recently, so now that I have some time off, I can finally get down to business, and I can finally, and I mean finally, review text for you in the next film review. Text is actually really good, just so you know. Some of these I have rented in the past, and some of these have been getting shipped since the outbreak, since the library's closed. But patience is a virtue. Starting off, I've got Nevermind by Nirvana again. And this is an album that I probably should review pretty quickly, probably right after Tex. The Lost Boys soundtrack. The only big names, like the first big name that I saw in the Lost Boys soundtrack was In Excess. Australian Giants In Excess. Now, I've been waiting for this for such a long time. Bon Jovi's debut album. Really good. Especially for rock fans like myself. Little story that goes with Cheers. I actually saw 2 episodes of Cheers on a plane on my way to Paris, France on a high school Europe trip in Easter 2014. Brilliant. Brilliant episodes, but won't be as good as the first season. First season usually has some of the best episodes. At least that's what I've been told. That's what I was told by a guy who sat beside me, one of the parents of the kids that went on the trip with us. And after that, I just nicknamed him Cheers throughout the rest of the Europe trip. I still call him Cheers. I still call him Cheers whenever I meet up with him. Perhaps my favorite book that I read in all throughout high school was Manga Shakespeare's version of Romeo and Juliet. A modern take on Romeo and Juliet. Say if Romeo and Juliet was an anime film. And I'm showing you this right now, folks. Great animation. The animation here, oh, sorry, I know it's graphic. Spoilers, this is the death of Tybalt scene. Good animation right here. So if you're a Shakespeare fan, you better get that. Another CD, Soundgarden, Bad Motorfinger. Oh, yeah. Chris Cornell, bless his heart, he was such a gifted performer. Like when he put his mouth on that microphone, it was like God had to be there. The Beverly Hills Cop Trilogy. Never saw the third one, but I do love the second one. Plus the second one features Bob Seger's Shakedown. Got The Crow again. I always loved The Crow. Now, finally, 2 films that made it to the theater, but had to be taken out of the theater because of recent events, so I had to wait a long time, and I had to wait a long time to get the DVDs, so here we are. The Invisible Man and The Way Back. I heard so many great things about both these movies. The Invisible Man, by far, has been called the best film of 2020 so far. Time for me to look it at. Being that I'm a James Dean fan, I got his first film, East of Eden. Fact, in East of Eden, as soon as James Dean got his part, they were looking for actors to play his character's brother. And believe it or not, the first option they came up with was Paul Newman. And I'm surprised they didn't pick Paul Newman because Jimmy and Paul would pass as brothers. You don't believe me? Just watch their screen test, Paul Newman's screen test below this tape. It's really entertaining. I can kind of see why they didn't choose Paul because there would have been too much bloopers. Jimmy and Paul actually got along quite well. My father got me hooked on the Hardy Boys. To Die or Not to Die. He likes the books of the Hardy Boys, which I've read. I enjoy them. But I've always had my challenges, so I find that reading the comic books are a little bit easier for me, especially if someone who's had, as an autistic person, it's easier for me to read comics. So there's more to come. I rented a whole bunch.